Hey, what's up everybody? Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching this video, I'm assuming you're at least curious about putting an oil separator on your ride. I'm putting this on my 2023 F-150. I've got the J&L by the Oil Separator Company. And although they may seem a bit pricey at $170, it seems like everything is very well made. There's quality components. You can even see here on these OEM style connectors that if you don't have everything lined up properly, you can just spin them 360. That way you don't have your hoses all kinked up. And once we complete the install, all you have to do is unscrew this little 3-ounce reservoir about every 1,000 miles and just clean out any of the oily residue that it's caught. And then this is going to be some simple, cheap insurance for the longevity of your ride. The first step is going to be to get our mounting bracket in place, and it recommends to put it here beside the battery box. There's a plastic lip that hangs off here that we can go ahead and get it drilled onto. And there's also a little plastic tab here that I'm just going to pop out. I could drill 2 holes, but I'm just going to use this as my first one. Put our bracket right over that, and then that's going to allow us to make our mark for the only hole that we're going to need to drill. So with the bracket in place, I'm just going to go ahead and make a little mark here, and then before you finish drilling all the way through, make sure that there's no wires underneath, and then go ahead and make your first hole here. That's honestly the only modification that you're going to have to make for this install. Otherwise, just use your supplied hardware and get these bolts lined up here with the bracket. And then I just took a socket and wrench, made sure everything was nice and snug and secure as we move on to getting the actual canister attached to this bracket. And there's just going to be 2 holes. They just line up with the mounting bracket, and then use the supplied screws to get that snug down, and just make sure you don't strip those out. Get them tight, but not too tight. And that was the hardest part of the install. Now that that's out of the way, we're just going to leave our hoses kind of hanging out here for now, and we're going to have to remove our PCV line. So you'll want to locate that. It's going to go from your intake manifold to your PCV valve. And what I'm doing is pushing in a little blue tab and just pulling that away. You don't have to pull it that hard, it'll pop right out. Once I get this off, we'll show you the bottom here. So there's a little blue tab here. You'll just push in and it releases nice and easy. You don't have to force anything. It'll pop right off. But don't throw this PCV line away. Definitely keep it safe. I'm just going to keep mine in the truck just in case I ever need it in the future. Now to make our final connections, we'll plug in our PCV valve from the right side of the canister. Here on the left side is going to go into our intake manifold, and then that's it, we're done. Just make sure that your lines aren't kinked up, they're not touching any moving parts or touching anything that's going to get hot, and then that's a wrap and a very simple install. And don't worry about it sticking above the battery. I was at first once I noticed that, but I can verify that the hood will close fully with no issues. But when you get ready to check it, you'll just unscrew it. It can get a little tight after it's been on there for a little while, but just reach in and lefty loosey righty tighty. And at this point, this is as clean as this thing's ever going to be. Just make sure to check it at every 1,000 miles. I'm going to fast forward this to my 1,000 miles, and I'm going to unscrew this thing here, let you see what it looked like. So this was my first collection, and it didn't even really look like oil. It was just kind of like a watery, oily mixture of some sort. Definitely something that's not going to be good for the engine. Looks like it's some kind of a grease out of a Thanksgiving turkey pan, to be honest. So we'll clean that out, wipe it out with a paper towel, and then put it back in. Set your reminder to check it at the next 1,000 miles. And after seeing this, I have no doubt that this was a good investment for my vehicle. You can look online, check out the reviews, and see what other people are pulling out of their engines. A lot of it looks really oily. Sometimes it looks more like what I had in mind. It can vary depending on the weather that you're in. If you're in very cold climates, it says you might want to check it a little sooner. You may pick up some condensation in there. And I provided a link to this product in the description below if this is something that you're interested in. If you have any questions about the install or anything like that, definitely leave those in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I'm happy to help. But in the meanwhile, thanks so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. All right, peace.